Okay, David.
And Mike, can you just talk about what it says about this team? You don't score a touchdown since the first quarter, and the way this was uncharacteristic from ways you've won since you've been here.
Well, I think the biggest thing is, especially early in the year, I mean, every season's different, every team's different, and this team just has incredible work ethic and fight. And our season started last week, so we established play style, and it just felt that this week 2 opportunity was so unique. You're playing an uncommon opponent. Most of these players had not competed against each other. Obviously, teams don't compete against each other, so there's a lot that went into that. Obviously, Chargers coming off an excellent win last week at Washington. So, to come in here and win this game was important on a number of fronts for us. We needed it, and we needed the confidence that goes with this win. So, winning in this league so hard. So I'm just proud of the guys because they're doing everything the right way. So I mean, we still have a lot of work to do. We're young in spots in the game. It was great to get our young guys in there, but I just love the communication and the bounce back. These football games always usually come down to the last couple series, and this one here came right down to the last play. So excellent win for us. It'll be a great plane ride home. I really like their football team. Just competing against them, and the way they play, the talent, and so this is definitely one that we could build off of.
The strangest game-winning drive you've ever been associated with? Just the way the whole clock situation went, and
the clock situation just to the end was different. I've never had a clock go off the board on me like that. So, the second down, we're trying to chip away and just get a shorter field goal, and so we were going to attempt a third down play, and then kicking on fourth was the time frame we were in, 17 seconds, I think. So we were right on the threshold. We get into these 2-minute drills, you have thresholds, 1 minute, 30 seconds, 17 seconds. So we were right at the threshold there of our operation, and so we had a personnel. One of our players came off that shouldn't have come off, and just communication there. So then we were just going to run it down, but the clock I was watching went off the board, and then the clock Kellen had, I think he said a camera. He got blocked by a camera guy. So the communication was great from up top, and and obviously you want to call that timeout between 3 and 4 seconds. So.
Next calm on that final drive, knowing what you had to win, and then Zerline coming back after last week to get the kick.
Yeah, definitely. I think you see the best of Dak Prescott in those situations. We put a lot of time into it. I just really love his demeanor, his poise in the 2-minute drills. So it's good to get these ones on Sunday. I think this is clearly a product of Dak and the offensive players and the coaches. This amount of time that goes into the 2-minute drill, and it means a lot when you're able to get that done in a live game situation. So, and especially off of what Greg went through last week, you can see why we have confidence in him. I mean, this guy's. He kicks field goals to put teams in the Super Bowl, and I think he's definitely a Super Bowl caliber, champion type kicker. So, he hit 2 big ones today, and he hit the money one right at the end. So, thank you, Rich.
Mike,
can you talk about
late, but thank you.
You talk about you only had just 8 offensive possessions in this game. The
Yes.
use of those, and your offensive line with Terrence still out there.
Yeah, I think we come out there right there at the beginning with the 16-play drive. And let's give them credit too. They bounced back with some long drives, and you had had 3 turnovers in a game. We were +1, so you have factors into that. But I think both teams showed a lot of patience. I like the way the game was called. It's from my position, you get to watch that more closely, as opposed to being participating in it. So I thought both offensive play callers called a very clean, kept their guys in a low risk type football game, and I thought their quarterback and those guys played good, stressed our defense. So I mean there was a lot of bend don't break out there today, and I think the score definitely reflected that.
the personnel. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. With the personnel losses you had defensively going into this game, just how they responded today, and then also kind of flipping the script from the opener and relying on the run game offensively.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the defensive, personnel loss, and the timing of it is usually the challenge. So I think just with the young players and the adjustments, Micah playing exclusively outside, to do it on on a short week, make an adjustment midweek. It just really gives a lot of credit to Dan and the staff and most of all the players. So, hey, I got a lot of experience of playing young players. I think this definitely pays forward. You kind of hold your breath a few moments out there with some of our young guys, but this is great experience. These are moments and plays and especially games and ending and result of games that you definitely build off of.
What about just
What are the
Micah?
most difficult things you asked Micah to do in making that position change?
Well, just doing it full time. He's a run and hit player. He's an impact player, and not down to play exclusively. As a pass rusher. Obviously there's more assignments playing that position on first, second, and third down as opposed to moving in there. When he plays the Sam linebacker on first down and base. So, it's just a little more focus and alignment assignment in the schemes that he was asked to do. And so, it's something that, we spend a lot of time with him one-on-one because he does play both linebacker and defensive line. So, but for him to make that full switch midweek, it was impressive.
How big was your run game, Saturday?
Oh, huge. We needed to get it going. We wanted to get the run game going, just to, hopefully get some action pass off of that. We really didn't get to a lot of the things we had hoped to get to, but, give their defensive front some credit. They do a good job of rolling the personnel groups in there. And so I thought the chess match, Kellen did a heck of a job calling the game.
Was that part of the focus to control the ball and keep Herbert off the field?
Well, we want to always, we feel that we can go the long way or the quick way. So, once again, I thought Kellen called an excellent game. I thought he was very patient today, and this was a game he needed to be patient in.
Pollard in particular, only the third time in his career that he's had over 100 rushing yards. What do you think allowed him to have the success he did?
Well, Tony's a heck of a player. I can only speak on my time with him here. He's a really good inside and outside player. I know where he came from, and his past, Memphis as a slot player and so forth. But that's to me is almost like an added dimension. He's a natural runner. Doesn't waste any steps. He has really ability to put his foot in the ground and get vertical. So I just think you're seeing what I've been seeing for 2 years. So just to have the combination of both him and Zeke is we're very fortunate to have two caliber backs like that.
What was your meetings like this week as a head coach as you dealt with things going on with your offensive line and as you got the news about Tank Lawrence? What was that like for you to get to this day in this game plan?
Fortunately, it was normal. Hopefully abnormal gets back to not having these kind of meetings. So I just think that change is constant in our game right now. The COVID exempts and the practice squad exempts, and just the number of conversations you have on who your 48 is going to be. I hope I don't have too many any more weeks like we did this week, because it just was constantly moving and churning and so forth. But at the end of the day, that's my job. That's the administrative part of it. And the most important part is just to make sure the players don't see that or feel that, and just keep them focused on what's in front of them. So we really did have a very good week of practice and preparation. And as we all know, that doesn't always lead to going out and playing great, but it's nice when it does as a coach. So I like the way our team's progressing, and I'm excited about what's in front of us with the Monday night game and with Philadelphia, the 3 games at home. So this is an excellent win to build off of.
How much does this reinstill any belief that this early in the season was starting to fade? How much does this win reinstill belief in this team? When obviously, if you're 0-2, that's just a much big difference in 1-1.
You don't want to be 0-2. No one wants to be 0-2. I think it's obvious, but I can only speak on it. At the end of the day, my job is to protect and grow the locker room culture and make sure the training is enhanced so these guys can be in position to win games. And these guys have not blinked from that. It's a different training camp for me personally, but we accomplished a lot. Especially last year did mean something, but because we did have some things we could build off from last year. So just to kind of have a semi-normal training camp, and the preseason had its challenges with injuries, particularly to Dak and so forth, and and that's why last week we weren't quite good enough, but there was a lot to build off of that. So to me, to answer your question, I don't think there was ever a blank in the belief. I think we demonstrated that the way we came out here today, and the way we started the game, and more importantly, how we finished it.
A lot of questions this week about the run-pass balance going into this game. Are these two games an example of, you said it's just we're going to attack where we feel we need to attack, and offensively these first 2 weeks have kind of showed that for you?
I mean, you have to. I mean, we're trying to win we're trying to build this thing to win a championship. So, I mean, you have to have diversity. You have to have an understanding of what your opponents can and cannot do. This was once again, when you beat uncommon opponents, I think it takes a little extra, brings a little different kind of confidence goes with it, because there's a reliance and an understanding and commitment during the course of the week that you have to do more, and our players did that this week. So, it's once again, it's felt good. Proud of the guys, but it is one win, but it's we're 1-1. We got 3 at home. Looking forward to it.
What was the decision-making process on that punt when you guys, were you trying to go after the punt block, and how do you evaluate the decision-making?
Well, we have a pick stunt. I think, like a lot of things in the game, was it a punt block, is it a punt rush, or is it a return? So, I mean, sometimes you have calls that have the combination of both. We had a pick stunt on there, and the object was to drive the personal protector into the punter, because just the way they were picking it up. So I haven't seen the video of it. I didn't get a replay of it on the field. So, but what I saw live was, there was a collision that went into the punter. So I'm not exactly sure what they called. I mean, I know the penalty they called, but I don't know who they called it on.
Now that Micah has shown you the ability to adjust to different positions, how does that open things up for him in the future, the rest of the season?
Well, I mean, it's excellent for your defense. I had a past experience with Clay Matthews. I always felt once we moved Clay back, to an off-the-ball Mike and Will linebacker position, it made him more valuable, and it was tougher from an offensive perspective for targeting and trying to help on that type of player. And I think that definitely is the way I view Micah. So his ability to play on and off the ball, creates potential matchups, diversity, and not only for him, but what it does for the other players.
Get your use of Micah and also speak to your confidence you have in Leighton and Jalen.
Oh, absolutely. No doubt. I mean, I just looked the way the personnel groups, were designed today. So, Leighton and Jalen played a lot of football. So, this is really the product. I mean, you were a training campus. This is really the product of how we've been utilizing these guys throughout since the spring, and and you need it. You need all these personnel groups. We played a defense today that had 6 personnel groups. We rolled 5. So that's today's NFL.
Mike, your job's obviously to focus on what's on the field and keep the players focused regardless. But when you have so many Cowboys fans here cheering "Let's go Cowboys" loud when the defense is on, do you hear that, and what kind of impact?
Absolutely. I mean, it felt in a lot of ways like a home game. Definitely, a home. You felt like you were back at Oxnard. It just did I say that correctly? I don't want to offend anybody. Well, blame it on the accent if I said it wrong. I apologize. I don't want to get in trouble. But no, but it's awesome. I mean, when we pulled in here last night, coming from the airport, there was a truck with probably three looked like 3 or 4 huge Cowboy flags, hanging out the back, and so. You love that. You love to see that. Our fans are phenomenal, and it definitely helps the players, and it definitely felt in a lot of ways like a home game.
Your defensive game plan underwent significant revision from Wednesday on after DeMarcus.
I would say adjustment. I think you have to give, Dan and the coaches, just some credit, because there is flexibility in our scheme. That's something that that's something that's not right. But anyways, in our scheme, it's something that when I arrived here felt that was part of the change that I tried to start last year. So we wanted to be more diverse, utilize more players, and and if you look at the defensive free agents and the rookie class, so this is what we've been building, and and hopefully we can continue to utilize all the different personnel groups.
Injury updates, and how's Amari?
I know Amari got hit in the ribs, but Rich, we didn't have any they didn't give us anything before we came in here.
Somebody that obviously you're concerned about. How do you think you handled him today?
How do we?
How you guys handled Bosa today?
How do we hit? Oh, Bosa. Oh, I thought we did a good job. I thought the first part was the 16-play drive. I think that's and as far as we gave him a lot of attention, which he obviously deserves. Because we had very high respect for him coming into this game, but I thought Terrence played very well. So I thought Fackrell, played well, on their side. He came in there with a couple of big rushes for them in the fourth quarter. But, I like the way our guys battled.
How much of your rushing success had to do with them, playing with a lot of light blocks?
Well, I mean, I almost say they played with a light box the whole time. They played. It's always that. Where's the fourth, the 4 count or the 7th element, and how far is he away? Is he immediate? Is he an immediate threat? Is he from depth? I thought we were a lot more patient in dealing with the extra hat today, and I think we utilized more formations. It's more 3-man surface type runs and things like that to make sure we got the ball ran.
Preparation for this game, what do you see out of Justin Herbert this week, and then what do you think of him today?
I really like him a lot. I mean, we watched him a little bit in the off season. His season he had last year. Just knew some coaches that were here last year that spoke very highly of him. But I think he's a heck of a quarterback. I mean, he can make all the throws. Very very good athlete. I was impressed with the way they moved him around and the keeps and the quarterback movement packages. So. I think he's got an extremely bright future in front of him.
Mike, how you explained the field goal at the end? You weren't settling for a field goal with 30 seconds left. It just turned out that way because of the.
Yeah, we had a substitution communication there. We were going to run a 3rd down play, and we had a clock, a little bit of a clock issue. The clocks went off the boards up top, and then we had the one that Kellen was watching, his endo was blocked, and so basically, we were communicating with the box, and just once we didn't have the personnel set for the 3rd down call, so we were in that tweener. Once you get below 17 seconds, it's that's a threshold that you just let it run down and take the kick there. But the initial plan at the 30-second mark was to run a 3rd down play.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, thank you.
Zeke and Mike are on their way.